said Karen, not for the first time. Oh, there are charming bastards and good-looking bastards. There is variety. I mean, choose. Boring, gallant, sexy, macho, mean, self-centered, plain unqualified, but all bastards. I've dated them, you've dated them, of course we have, and we have screwed them. But they're all bastards, and you do not need to get on the plane to find one. Now, Karen has given up all hope of ever finding the one man who is not a bastard. So when I said I'd found him, she didn't believe me. Cheryl, she said, you're deceiving yourself. So I told her everything, and she said, okay, maybe not yet, but he will be. You'll see, you're making a mistake. Why take the whole pig when all you need is some spicy sausage? She gets a bit coarse when she's wanting to make her point, but she hasn't given up, no matter what she says. She is looking too. Even when you find him, you still feel nervous. I guess anyone would. There's so much at stake. However, there are times for making gifts and giving. This has to work, because I don't know what I'll do if it doesn't. I could really do with a drink right now, but I don't drink on my own. Oh, it's silly, but I don't. 10 more minutes, then we can. Just concentrate on the breathing. I like good hotels. This was highly recommended. Aren't those beautiful? That's the kind of touch I expect. Yet, it's a month since I had any. The hotel where we met was this beautiful old mansion on the edge of town. You see, it was a company workshop, and they always find somewhere special or unusual. The second night after dinner, I stuck with the lively group. Oh, the egos are bigger for sure, but you do have more fun. And that's where he was. We sat in a circle, and everybody had to tell a joke. And he was sitting opposite me, and I could feel him looking at me, and I smiled. I'd seen him earlier in the day. How do you explain that? There were over 40 people, and I single him out just as soon as I see him. Later, we were in one of the discussion groups, and I challenged what he said. I wanted to see how he'd react, I guess. He remembered, and he remembered the joke I told. I can't tell it now. Well, it was late, and we were having a drink, and the men were being really risque, and I wanted him to pay attention. They like it when a woman can tell jokes, get the punchline right. At dinner, he'd been talking and laughing with one of the other women. These company things are always the same. There's always more men than women. There's always that buzz. When the party broke up, I found out his room was on the same floor as mine and along the same corridor. There we were, riding together in the elevator, him and me. I talked and talked, didn't know what I was saying. When we got to his room, it's a pity the party's over, he said. Good night. Good night. My room was at the end of the corridor. As soon as I got in, I went straight to the phone. I called his room and I said, "The party's going on in my room. The door isn't locked." "That's it," said Karen. "In a big international company, you meet a smooth international class of bastard. Gold credit card, gold frequent flyer card, and never refuses an invitation." It's not as if I'm asking for something that costs doesn't even need gift wrapping. I just have to get this precisely right. Not long now. I did try to get some sleep on the plane, but it's difficult to look your best after getting off the red eye. I have had a shower and a nap. These are beautiful. The first bouquet was all white flowers. When Karen says, "What's he like?" she wants to know the facts. Age, appearance, height, how he dresses. I said, he's very early 40s, knowing that she'd be interested that he was younger than me. Not a lot, but younger. So I told her everything, like we always do, and she said, "Cheryl, you've missed something." "Karen," I said, "it's not like he made a secret of it, or like a bastard would, or tell me she doesn't understand him. He was actually quite matter of fact. They go to the movies together, they see friends. She works in publishing. And he listens. Normally, they just want you to listen to them, but he asked me questions and just let me talk." "He knows all about you," I said to Karen. "As if," she said. "Okay, you had 3 magical days together. He didn't slip up once. But he's on the other side of the ocean, Cheryl." I couldn't resist. I sent him an email. He wrote back, then I wrote back. There was so much I wanted to tell him. And then I wrote back again, and they made me feel so good. And if a day came and there was no email, I was really frustrated. "Oh, please," said Karen, and I'm wishing I hadn't told her. "Does he love you, Cheryl?" What do you think he and his wife do on a Saturday night? That hurt. Someone I think knows me doesn't see how I'm feeling. It's a fact, isn't it? When you get to our age, there's more women than men. My sister says, "What's the use of having a man around? What's the fuss?" And they all have history. Hey, there's this great club a few blocks away, which Karen discovered, and there's an unwritten rule that everybody is there just to dance, so the men do not try to pick you up. And it works. But if you've got it close to someone on the dance floor and you both know what the deal is, then you can come off that floor. You know what I mean? And it's no risk. Actually, for a time, I had a regular dance partner. This was someone I met through friends at a party, and I discovered he liked a salsa. So we went to classes together, we found this great club, and he was such a good dancer. And that's all it was. Then his friend got jealous. I would phone and he'd say Christoph wasn't in, or they had something arranged. Christoph wouldn't stand up to him, so it stopped. Why can't people give a little? That's real bad luck, said Karen. Your phone booth is not only broken, but occupied. That's just prejudice, I said. You make it sound like I'm looking for an appliance. Then she reminded me of the movie where all the wives are robot women. And I thought, maybe men want robot women, I said. But I want a real man, even if he isn't there all the time. Cheryl, she said, you cannot have a timeshare. Well, we agreed noon, and I could really do with that drink. Come on. I know they're not fashionable, but he does the driest martinis. One time in Italy, he showed the barman what we wanted. It was so much fun, and it was then that I discovered that he could dance. Oh, I was in heaven! And when he's not there, the emails are like talking to him. And they make me feel so good. Serious things, jokes. What to do about my car? Am I cutting my hair the same way? What are my new clothes like? Had I thought about wearing green? What to do about my difficult work colleague? And I tell him all the latest gossip in the office. And, well, no, I don't tell anyone those things. He's a troubleshooter, and he travels a lot. After a couple of months, I wondered how long I could go without seeing him again. Oh, I mean, he was in my life, every day. But I wanted to see him, and hear him, and feel him, and have him. Wouldn't you? Then he wrote he had a surprise for me, not a hint. Then one day I was coming back from lunch. It was a Tuesday, I think. And there he was, sitting by my desk. I cannot tell you. After 5 minutes, he went off with the senior management people who he'd been posted to work with. All I remember is feeling hot and twitching all day, angry that he'd sprung this on me, but so excited that he was there. Anyway, later on in the day, he phoned to say he couldn't make dinner like he promised because they had to go off and work. Eventually, the doorbell rang. He didn't know what hit him. He stayed for a week. I thought you liked surprises, he said. I do! The flowers, the postcards from different places, but this, I really flipped. Next day, I was sitting at my desk and thinking about the night before, and I wondered, should I introduce him to my friends? No way! Anytime he was free, I wanted for me. We were both working, and he was doing all these erratic hours because the company wanted him to do nothing but work. I always missed the emails. We would have dinner, or if not, what time would he be home? The first morning I woke up without him, I did something I'd never done before. I called in sick. I later saw Karen, and she was just angry, and then she just laughed and said, "How am I going to cure you?" I didn't want a cure. I wanted to know when we were going to meet again. I wanted the emails. I wanted to know he was out there and thinking and feeling and thinking about me, because that would be okay, provided every now and then we could get together, because I can look after myself. I've worked hard. I've lived on my own a long time, but I've had it with the disasters. The phone call that got missed, the not knowing when he was going to turn up, the excuses, the rows, then alone again. I've had enough of that, and I can see the way to do this. One evening I asked if he was thinking of leaving his wife. Well, I had to know. I just didn't make a big deal of it, like I was asking, was he going to wear that shirt again? I tell him to change the shirt. But I couldn't lose him. Whatever he said, I had to know. So I emailed him to ask when we would meet again. He wrote back and said, could I get some vacation, and would I fancy going to Venice? I would have said yes to a week in Omaha. Well, you're late now. We'll be secluded here, discreet. Have a drink, lunch maybe, work this out. Venice was the most amazing week. There was a moment when he saw some people he knew, but they were there on business and going to Mestra. Then it was just him and me in this astonishing city. All that art, the buildings. I'd never been, but he knew it really well. But all that art and the buildings made it more intense. And I knew I had to be with him. It didn't have to be there, but I had to have more, and I had to be with him. When I got home, it took some time to get used to being on my own again. Wasn't helped by taking another few days vacation when I went to join him at the Atlanta office. That wasn't good. I spent the whole time on my own, thinking and wondering. When we were able to take another vacation, it had been about a year now, I wanted to go to Italy again, but somewhere different, and where we could go for walks and see villages. He found this place in the south, and it was just what I wanted for us. Then near the end, there was an earthquake. I was so scared. Have you ever been through an earthquake? It was in the middle of the night. Oh, the noise, the walls move. But the hotel was okay. The next morning, the phone rang in our room. I answered it. It was his wife. I went into the bathroom and put my hands over my ears. He came in and found me and kissed me. When I got home, those words kept echoing in my mind. I don't know who you are, but I want to speak to my husband. And I could hear the sound in her voice that she was concerned, like I would have been. I bet she thinks he's a bastard, said Karen. He says they worked it out. Then I heard he was in Atlanta, and I didn't know about it. He wrote and said he hadn't told me because the last time I was so fed up and lonely. There were days when the emails got missed or they got shorter because he was really busy with work, and something gripped my heart. And I knew it was time. So I arranged to meet. I've said to him, I think we should level with his wife. She doesn't want to lose him. I understand that. I don't want to take him from her. After the bastards, I always recovered. But I cannot lose him. This is the one. I cannot start again. If she cannot give me this, I go up to the roof. That will be it. Do you understand? All I'm asking for is a little time each year. He knows that, but does she? Just a little time. After all, it'll be like he's going off to work somewhere, and he won't sort it out, so she and I have to. On her ground, I do not get to see him. It's hard, but it's there. That's how it has to be. I am here so we can talk and work this out together. I want her to know who I am. She sounds nice, really nice. She was very matter of fact, just like she expected me to call. We both have to be matter of fact. That's what it requires. I want her to think of me as a friend. We have a lot in common. And I have a little gift for her. And I know it's the only one she'll wear. Ah, at lies behind.